guys, welcome back. And we just got done reading June part 1 of Moinetta's diary, and I realized that I didn't close it up like I normally do, but that's okay. Calm down. I'm fine. And we're just going to open it right back up and we're going to get right back into it. So let's see what is going to happen. So we are on June 16th, which is a Tuesday, and she wrote here and then she crossed it out. But we're going to be nosy and we are going to read it. And I keep looking over there, but whatever. Okay. Rainy about all day. Wrote some letters. And then she crossed that out. She was like, oh, that's not what I did. No. She wrote, fine, quite warm. I went down to Sherrod's in the morning and paid them $10 on Monument. That's a lot of money for her. Then I went down to you guys check it out. What is that? I know the closer I get, I think you can't see it. I can't read it. This will remain a mystery. Then I went down to and got a refill for $2 something, 75 cents. Had hot tea and piece of pie. When I got home, 12 noon, Mrs. Fraser had gone down too. Mrs. Fraser went down to see Mrs. So-and-so. Seems a little better. Something on the bus. We all went over to Mrs. B as her mother had passed. From there we went over to Mrs. Duffy's and spent the rest of the evening. Okay. Oh man, I hope the writing doesn't get worse. June 17th, fine. Mrs. H got wind to go to hospital. Room ready for her. Mrs. H got word, not wind. She got word. She didn't have to hear it by, like, you know, some gossip. She actually got told to go to the hospital. So, okay. 18th, fine. D. Fraser was over to tea. Mrs. Fraser and I were invited over to Aunt Vinnie in evening, being her 70th birthday. Glenn Marr came for us, and something Harry Stout brothers brought us home. Harry Stout brought us home 12 midnight. Served refreshments. Phil and Lillian were in ahead of us. It was very warm all day. Varna came over and turned up 2 dresses for me. Mrs. Fraser got her new stove, gas. Man set it up in the morning and again in the afternoon. Sadie went up this week to help something, but took sick with tonsillitis. Came home today. I got Gary's photo. Okay. Wow. Poor Sadie. The 19th is a Friday. Fine and very warm. Mrs. Fraser went downtown. In the evening, we sat out in Piazza. Gary came along and we had a talk. Did we hear of a name Gary? Didn't we? Right? Hold on. Where's my book at? Oh, it's under my laptop. My book with my notes is under my laptop, which I'm not going to move right now. But are Gary and Sadie together? Like they're dating or something, right? Because Moinetta, her and him are having a talk. That's the tea. Okay, I'm very cheesy, I know. All right. Wow. There is a lot on Saturday. Ooh, I hope she wrote what they talked about. Ooh, I hope there's some juiciness in here. All right, Moinetta, here we go. Saturday, June 20th. Fine, warm. Mrs. Fraser went downtown. Came home feeling so sick. Oh my goodness, this poor woman. She has been sick. Like, it feels like a couple weeks. I went down to see Sadie. Lillian went to picnic at McKee's Mills in the afternoon. Mrs. Fraser and I went over to West End store. In evening, we went down to hospital to see Mrs. Hensman. Also went in to see Mrs. S. Lillian got home about 9 p.m. Iris Bell came in and we had lunch. I went down to Dixon's to get money changed. Sadie walked up with me and stayed a while. Aunt Vinny came over and took Mrs. Fraser down to Little's to see Mr. Chisholm's remains just arrived. I did not care to go. Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. Letter, oh my goodness. Mrs. Fraser. I can't, it's hard to put your head around it because we don't really know the links between people, what their connections were. But she had to have been like maybe a daughter to this Mr. Chisholm, or, I mean, if it wasn't, they weren't married because her name would be the same, and that was quite normal back then. So maybe it was her father. And I don't blame you, Moinetta. I would not have cared to go. Letters from Jessie and Francis have got their home banquet for about 400 Masons. Varna had letter from Francis. All right. June 21st. Fine and cooler. Mrs. Fraser and Lillian went to Sunday school in church sermon. Something from Presbyterian Church. Masons opening to Central United Church. In the evening, Mrs. Fraser and I went up to call on Mrs. Crandall. Mrs. Crandall weakening. Called on Mrs. Cusack, who is very miserable. Wow. Weren't they both in the hospital? I'm not sure. Phil spent day with his aunt, something Fraser, and Mr. Pike went to Heartland with his sister as Mr. Chisholm's remains were taken there. Oh goodness, that's crazy. Oh my goodness, guys. Look at the writing. I hope I can read it, so please bear with me. Monday and Tuesday. Oh my. That's a lot. All right. I'm going to pause it and get a nice drink. Okay. All right, June 22nd, it's a Monday. Very dull. Mrs. Fraser washed. I'm just going down to City Hall to pay my taxes. $7.28. Got back at 5 to 12. Raining a pour. That's adorable. Raining a pour. I had my umbrella. Good deal. Atta gal. Mr. or Mrs. Bissett advised me to something to get my rental covered. Saw Jay Barnes and Emma Kinney. Came up to Woolworth's and had lunch, then home. Mrs. Fraser had to bring in her wet clothes. Varna and Betty out today as commemorative. Mrs. Fraser gone to see the doctor. That's good. Cleaned, so I put clothes out for her. Into Mr. or Mrs. Brooms to see daughter's dress to wear to Barbara Hopper's wedding. We went to church at night to a time for Mr. and Mrs. Alfred Taylor as their wedding anniversary. 50 years was next day. Gave them $50 in a wedding cake. Wow, that's so generous. Mrs. A brought us home. Aunt Vinny was over. Tab went to Masonic Lodge at something. Whew, I got through it, guys. Got through it. June 23rd, fine. Mrs. Fraser went down to in the morning to see about a stool carnival. It's definitely ST. I don't know what it says. Okay. In the evening, Sterling and Helen Matchett took Mrs. H, Mrs. Fraser, Lillian, and me out to, it looks like, is it hospital? At Lake something, Lakeburn. Plane came in a while we were there. Then went over to number 8, where we saw more planes and 2 more came in. We got on board 2 of the planes, and I was in the room where the pilot sits. 2 chairs. Something Edmund and Bob O'Brien were there. Came back to Moncton. Treated to ice cream. Ira then went up and saw the beautiful new Chrysler building to be open the 25th, I believe. Phil came home sick. Something wrong with his leg. Oh my God. Varna finished enumerating. Tab cooked at blank 2 days carnival. Wow, guys. People go in and out of being sick, and Phil came home, but he's sick. His leg is hurt. I love Moinetta's little adventures. She went, they watched planes come in, and then she got on a couple planes and she sat where the pilot sat. That's adorable. Love it. It was probably very exciting for her considering she had a trunk that she put on not a suitcase, a trunk, and she went on a trip on a train and then back the same way. So that was probably very exciting for her. Although she didn't say I loved it or anything like that, but she did write about it. So it must have been pretty cool. All right. Whew. I need more than tea. I just spilled it. So exciting. Okay. All right. Pardon me. We are on June 24th, and we're closing in on the end of the month, guys. All right. It's a Wednesday. Fine. A little cooler. I went over to Varna's this morning. Sent letter to Mr. B. Chadman of Board of Assessors. At 12:30, we went to Dr. Frazier at, it looks like Louisville, but it's not, for afternoon. We all went through the hot houses. What is she talking about? We all went through the hot houses. Mr. and Mrs. Carl Frazier came over and we were served refreshments. Got home about 5 p.m. Nice something. Doctor in to see Phil's leg. Doesn't know the trouble. Poor Phil. Sat on piazza and listened to Carnival. Okay, so my modern brain is thinking Carnival, like a cruise line. That's all I was thinking about. But apparently there was a carnival going on, and that is what they were talking about. Okay. Wow. So let's go to June 25th. Fine hot day. Mrs. Frazier and I left about 9:30 a.m. for L to go to the association. We went over with Mr. and Mrs. Brenton, left Phil home with his sick. It just struck me funny. Have you guys, you know when things strike you funny? That struck me. Moinetta. Okay, hold on. I'm going to have to read it again. Because that's, I don't know if she was trying to be not a wise Enheimer or being rude or anything. I think it, okay. Left Phil home with his sick legs. And I thought it was only one leg, but maybe both. Who knows? Or it could have been a sarcastic remark. Our girl has been known to make sarcastic remarks, and maybe there's nothing, the doctor couldn't find anything wrong with his legs, and maybe she's like, you stay home with your sick legs, okay, buddy? Because I'm out of here. Oh my goodness. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay. Went to Miss Manderson's for dinner and supper. Aunt Vinny was there, also Julia. Lost my watch on King Street. No, I wonder if that's the watch that Frances got her. And Mrs. Carter found it shortly after I had lost it. Yes. Yay. I was almost sick when I discovered it was gone. We didn't stay to evening service. Very tired, and Mrs. Frazier wanted to see about Phil. Is Phil Mrs. Frazier's husband, maybe? Or Mrs. Frazier? Okay, let's just say that Phil is Moinetta's husband, and Mrs. Frazier's like, maybe we should get home and check on your husband, Phil. But it doesn't sound like that. I have an imagination, okay? Okay. We got ride home with Mr. Boudreau, Boudreau and others. Phil's leg, not much better. Mrs. Manderson had bad heart attack that morning. Lillian went to a shower at night, and I wrote to Francis. Wow, like life is insane the past couple months with these tragedies that are happening and these crazy horrible things. What? Okay. I gotta take a break. Hold on. Okay, I just needed a drink. I didn't mean for that to come off as dramatic or anything. My throat is getting dry. All right, we have 4 or 5 more days. June 26th. Let me just show you the pages. Oh my goodness. Moinetta. Raining. Phil's legs look better, but not able to go to work. Mrs. Corin passed away this morning. Walked up and back to bank and Lorraine's. Verna phoned, going to, I have no idea, for a weekend. Sun shining at 6 p.m. In the evening, Sadie came in, also something ball. Ida played church. Nope. Ida played Chinese checkers, not church checkers. Ray came home from Minto School. School? SC? Nope. Huh. I don't know. June 27th, Saturday. Fine and hot. And she crossed some things out. Mrs. Fraser went downtown and ordered groceries. Nope, scratch that. In the afternoon, Mrs. Fraser and I went down to church to see Emerson Carroll and Pearl McLeod married. Aw. By Mr. Pike. Lovely big crowd. Little Norma something came down and stayed the week, and Carnival leaving tonight. Herb and Marjorie went to Edgewater Cottage for the summer. Ooh, I wonder where that's at. I'll be looking it up. All right, June 28th, Sunday. Fine and hot, 85 degrees. We went to Little's to Mrs. Corin's funeral. Nora went home, Phil's legs better, and Mrs. Small and Mrs. Borges were, I'm sure I said that wrong, were in Sunday evening. Verna got home about 10 p.m. 2 more days, guys. June 29th, Monday. Fine and hot. Mrs. Fraser washed. I was down to Sadie's a while, very hot. Mrs. Reynolds came about 3:30. Something stay all night. I bought a box of strawberries, 49 cents. Varna phoned. Phil went to work this morning. Mrs. Higsman in during the evening. I nearly died with the heat. She just gets you out of nowhere. Blah, 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 blah. I nearly died with the heat. Lillian went to Edgewater with Mr. Carlin and others. I get you, Moinetta. I get you. It is hot here where I live, and that heat will get you. I get it. Last day of June, thankfully. Fine and hot. Mrs. Reynolds went home. Varna came over at night and brought me some rhubarb. No more rhubarb, please. I gave her a plastic salad set. What? I gave her a plastic salad set and bottle of cherry jelly. Sadie, up in the evening for a while, sent Gary a birthday card and $1. Oh my goodness, this woman, love her. And that wraps up our June. So let's see if I can, I did it. Moinetta, what a month. And there are definitely some interesting things in there. I wonder if I'll be able to find any information. I've looked in the obituaries for everyone that they've talked about so far, obviously except for June, and I was only ever able to find one of the twins and her husband. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what I can find. I have a feeling that while there was a lot that happened in June, it was a lot of weather events and there were a lot of hospital stays and things like that. I don't think that our June roundup will be very long. So I'm going to double check, and it may, be a real quick one. But anyway, let me let you go. This is 26 minutes, a little bit longer than the first one, but I really appreciate you being here, and I thank you so much for your support, and have a great one. And until the next time, I will see you later. Bye.